Good morning, everyone. It is, wow, Tuesday, October 18th. How did we get halfway through October already? We're creeping up on Halloween like it's cool. All right, here's a look at our S&P futures. You can see after a pretty decent day yesterday, not on a ton of volume. When you look at the futures chart, it gets a little bit better. I think a more complete picture of volume. It was just kind of a meager volume. It was okay, not terrible, but not great. However, yesterday we did close ourselves out here right at the 20. This morning we're opening up and pushing up. We have a ways here to get to the 34 and then potentially the 50 there. Here's one thing I want us to all be very mindful of is the last several times we've made some pretty decent moves. We've turned around, and even though we open up at a nice level, we come back down. So I just want to watch. I'm not a negative Nelly by any means. Everybody knows if they listen to me enough that I'm much more of a perma bull kind of gal. I like the upside in charts, recognizing the downside pattern, but I like the upside in charts. That being said, the data is telling us to be very cautious as we move forward, especially with all of the earnings coming out. So a lot of earnings this week, next week, and then the follow-on week. We'll get pretty much, I'm going to say this is not a true statistic, but probably 90% of all companies will end up reporting in the next few days. Certainly the S&P 500 will get those within the next 2 weeks. We'll get pretty much 80% of the S&P 500. I forget what it is. It might be like 82 or 84%. So really busy when it comes to those earnings starting this week and next week. So keep that in mind. And when you're in something, make sure to look not just at the name that you're trading. You can go to earningswhisperers.com and look and see when it's reporting. Or if kind of handy dandy here, if you trade in Thinkorswim, they usually tell you. Now, I always go and double check these. Sometimes they're not quite right. They might be off by a day. But as we get close in these really big names, like an Apple or something like that, they're pretty accurate. But they always put them down here for you so you know when they are coming up. Okay, but this is what we looked like yesterday on Apple. Apple helped the SPY as goes SPY, or as goes Apple, so goes the SPY, so to speak. Really nice price action yesterday throughout most of the day, even though I wasn't here to trade it. And today, I will warn you, Lexi is home from school again, so I'll be in and out. But we had this nice tail yesterday, an open body candle, but it's all an inside candle. Inside candles tend to be indecision type candles, so what we want to see is a follow through. It looks like this morning we will get some of that follow through, but we want to see that continue past the first hour of the market open. You see our downward trend line. We'll be breaking that here today. And I put in here our opening price. This was the gap. It's not accurate. I need to adjust that just a little bit. But we had this gap to the top side from last week that we need to be concerned with as well. So, okay, all that being said, a lot of charts, I feel like you can just throw a dart, and we've had a reversal in a chart. But one of the ones that we did talk about yesterday was Zoom. And this, I really like this play. Look at this squeeze. We have the 3, 8, and the 20 all just in this nice little meeting, and they're up, kind of turned up just a little bit. Some room to the 34. I like this for continuation here this morning. Of course, I was in J&J, and it reports this morning, but come back and take a look, and we will see if we can get an earnings play out of this. I still, regardless of the earnings, I really like this setup here now that we've made our way above nearly all the moving averages other than the 200. Merck was another one. This is a day trader simply because it is so extended at this point, but it's just making candle over candle, higher high, higher low. Just a beautiful look in Merck. I mentioned Apple earlier, and it has been super beaten up. Look at this. It's underneath all of its moving averages, except for the 3 and the 8, where it's kind of chopping around here. If we can get some continuation on this, I like this over 145. In particular, those round numbers have been pretty sticky for most, or for Apple as of lately. I would also watch energy to come back and catch a bid. I really like CVX. Oxy, this one I like because of the moving averages being so tight right up underneath here. I don't like these long wicks on here, but for the most part, we have a nice curvature up in those moving averages, so we're going to look for continuation in Oxy. I said CVX XOM, a little bit cheaper one here. Right, this nice big flag on here. And then something we haven't been able to talk about that much lately is financials. Financials have just had the snot kicked out of it. But now they are past earnings and they're starting to make a nice little movement. And we are expecting a 75 basis point rate hike from the Fed here coming up shortly. So these are all attractive candidates as well. JPM's a little bit more expensive, so you can take a look at BAC or WFC. WFC we've traded here recently. So keep an eye on all of these. They're just a little bit cheaper and very liquid. So keep an eye on all of those. Another one that I am actually still in, I want to talk about real quick, is coin. This thing has been coiling here for quite a while. Really would love for this thing to pop up above that that 50 moving average. Now, when I got in, the premium was a little bit higher than what I should have waited, to be honest. I did not time that entry very well, and the premium was very high, which is why even though yesterday it made a pretty decent move, it didn't feel like it in the options. So we'll look and see if that pricing comes back in with Bitcoin here, just really quiet in a pretty tight range. Nonetheless, it's still making some higher highs and some higher lows. I also saw that Bitcoin and Mastercard are teaming up, and Mastercard's going to work on allowing, like peer-to-peer to be able to pay for things, right? So like you can go in a store and use Bitcoin to pay for something. They're really working on that ability. So we'll see if that gives a little bump here to Coinbase. That news has been out for a couple days. And then, real quick, I noticed, I feel like I just got off on a tangent. We heard about Kroger and Albertsons this last week, that they are looking to merge. And this is all about pricing power. This is about getting those larger contracts. They're competing with Walmart, who holds the largest grocer market share, which I didn't actually know that until this last week, but they hold 20%. These other ones, they come in at like 7, 8, 9%. So Albertsons and Kroger looking to team up in an all-cash deal. Here's the thing, I would be very cautious of this because I doubt that it's going to actually get through all the regulation, even if they divest stores. So there's a lot that goes into it. Companies can always announce, hey, we're going to do this, but they have to get through the regulatory process. We'll see if this one actually does. So I wouldn't trade on that news as of yet. And then speaking of trading on news, Twitter, beautiful flag, right? But this does have a top out price at $54.20. It would be my guess because that's what it's going private as. So as long as that comes to fruition, I think it will. Looks like the 28th, I think, is the day that the judge is like, look, poop or get off the pot and have it done by the 28th. So it's only 10 days from today. But nice day trade action ability in here and fairly liquid. So, but just keep that in mind that it does have a top out at $54.20. All right, that is it for me here this morning. I will be in and out. Like I said, Lexi is home from school today, but I'm going to be looking for a few day trades. Yes, still day trades. I really want to lean into how the market is going to perform after that first hour and see if we get continuation. Maybe we have a short-term bottom in here. If not, this is just a beautiful relief rally. So play it for what it's worth. Don't have a bias. You can have an opinion, but don't have a bias on the market. All right, I hope you have a fantastic day, everyone, and I will see you shortly. If you have any questions, Heather C., GivingTreeTrading.com.